When I first came across the Fogg Behavior Model, what fascinated me most was how practical it was. It gave me a completely new lens. Instead of endlessly asking myself, why can't I stick to this? It helped me break the problem down into 3 concrete factors: prompt, ability, and motivation. And suddenly, behavior change didn't feel mysterious anymore. It felt manageable. Let's start with prompt. A prompt is simply the signal that reminds you to take action. It could be an alarm going off, a notification on your phone, or even a physical object placed right in front of you. For example, I used to tell myself, I'm going to wake up early and exercise. But I didn't set a consistent alarm. So every morning, I just stayed in bed. Later, I changed one thing. I set a phone reminder, and I placed my running shoes right next to my bed. Now, every time I woke up, the shoes were there starting at me. That's not motivation. That's environmental design. Running no longer depended on memory or willpower. The environment reminded me automatically. When prompts are designed well, behavior has an engine. And if you keep forgetting to do something, don't blame your motivation, first check your prompts. As the book points out, many behaviors fail not because we don't care, but because the prompt is unclear or poorly timed. Next comes ability. Ability is simple. How hard is this behavior to do? If you want to build a daily writing habit, but your definition of writing means producing a full article every day, your brain will resist before you even begin. Dr. Fogg suggests something powerful. Shrink the behavior until it's almost ridiculously easy. Instead of write an article, make it write 1 sentence or write 50 words. Lower the difficulty, and starting becomes effortless. I experienced this firsthand with meditation. I wanted to meditate for 10 minutes a day, but I never stuck with it, so I reduced it to 1 minute. Sometimes it was just sitting down, closing my eyes, and breathing, and instantly, the resistance disappeared. When a behavior is that small, procrastination barely has a chance to show up. When prompt and ability work together, behavior becomes much more likely. Only then do we talk about motivation. We tend to overestimate motivation. We think we need to really want it, but Fogg reminds us, motivation is the most unstable variable. It fluctuates with mood, energy, stress, and environment. So instead of obsessing over how motivated am I, design better prompts and make the behavior easier. Even on low motivation days, you'll still show up. And interestingly, action often creates motivation, not the other way around. This reminds me of a story from the book. There was an employee who was always late to meetings. The traditional response: criticism, blame. You don't care enough. But the Fogg model asks different questions. Are the meeting notifications sent too late? Are there reminders? Do meetings run over and cause delays afterward? That's prompt. Then ability. Is the meeting room too far away? Are there schedule conflicts? Only after checking prompt and ability do we question motivation. This approach makes solutions more precise and far more humane. I've used this thinking to help friends too. There's a story Dr. Fogg shares about sitting on a plane next to a child who kept kicking the seat. Instead of scolding the child, he gave them smiley face stickers whenever they stayed still. No conflict. Just positive reinforcement, and the behavior changed. Compared to criticism and punishment, this approach is gentler and far more effective. The biggest gift the Fogg model gave me wasn't just habit strategies. It was a mindset shift. I used to blame myself. I have no discipline. I lack willpower. Now I see it differently. Most failures aren't because I am broken. They're because the habit was poorly designed. It's like cooking. If the recipe doesn't work, you don't blame the chef. You fix the recipe. That realization made me kinder to myself and more willing to experiment. Instead of quitting, honestly, it was liberating. One concept I especially love is tiny habits. A tiny habit is the smallest possible version of a behavior, so small that failure is almost impossible. For example, I once wanted to write a positive affirmation every morning after brushing my teeth. Now I simply tap myself lightly and say, "Today is going to be a good day." It takes 2 seconds. It may sound trivial, but over time those small positive emotions accumulate and they matter. Tiny habits rely on an anchor. An anchor is something you already do every day. Brushing your teeth, making coffee, locking the door. The habit becomes automatic because it's attached to something stable. And finally, there's celebration. Smile. Say nice job. Feel a moment of success. Celebration wires the habit into your brain. After trying this myself, I realized anchor plus tiny behavior plus celebration is the golden formula for habit formation. Simple actions, positive emotions, sustainable motivation. This model applies everywhere. Take parenting. Parents often say, you need to study harder. But that's abstract. Using the Fogg model, you might design a tiny habit like spend 5 minutes organizing your desk every day. Concrete. Easy. Confidence building. A friend of mine, Zuan Liefen, has a story that really moved me. After having a baby, her exercise routine completely collapsed. She felt guilty and frustrated. When we analyzed it, her motivation was still there. Her ability was fine. What was missing? Clear prompts and social anchors. She joined group fitness classes and running groups. The social structure became the anchor. And just like that, she fell back in love with movement and regained her confidence and energy. That story stayed with me. There's also something called a pearl habit. Life always has unavoidable annoyances like a noisy neighbor's air conditioner. Instead of resisting the frustration, you wrap it with a positive habit. Every time the noise wakes you up, you do a short breathing exercise or a brief meditation. The irritation becomes a prompt for calm. You don't just tolerate the problem, you transform it. Here's the key takeaway. Behavior change is not about suffering. It's not about forcing yourself to endure. It's about designing change so it feels good. Dr. Fogg emphasizes that positive emotion is the fuel for lasting change. That's why celebration matters so much. As one idea puts it, feeling good creates better change. So here's my invitation to you. Pick one thing you already do every day as an anchor. Attach a tiny, effortless behavior right after it. Then celebrate justo lido. After brushing your teeth, take a deep breath. After locking the door, smile. After finishing your coffee, pat yourself on the shoulder stick with Italiana. You may be surprised how these tiny moments slowly build real momentum. The Fogg Behavior Model didn't just help me build better habits. It completely changed how I see self-change. I'm no longer afraid of failure. I don't attack myself anymore. I approach change like a scientist, curious, gentle, always adjusting the design. So as you start using this model, remember, be kind to yourself. Stay curious. You don't need perfection, only progress. Every tiny success matters. Every small habit is a building block toward a better version of you. In the end, behavior change is a skill. It can be learned. It can be designed. And once you understand prompt, ability, and motivation, you gain a powerful framework for changing habits your own and others. Thank you for staying with me through this deep dive. I truly believe that once you start applying this model, you'll realize change isn't as hard or as painful as we once thought. Let's design a better life together.